Yeah, so yes, I have had a good week, yes.
Ah, okay.
Uh,
Yes, I have had a good week. Okay.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I have too. I've had a cold for about 10 days, and the only thing I have left is a lingering cough. So it's just kind of staying on, and when I start teaching, I hear my voice going bad, but other than that, I'm not feeling bad or anything like that. So, um,
You
yeah.
don't feel well in the last days, teacher?
Yeah, the last 10 days or so, but I'm better
Ah,
now. Yeah. So, but the only thing is my voice is still not up to par. It's not as good as it was. So,
spring,
yeah.
spring is coming, teacher. Don't
Yes.
don't worry.
We have had it's funny because here in Idaho, we had in Snowvember, in November we had a really big snowstorm. And then we
Oh,
had a couple of them in December. And since then, we've had more or less spring-like conditions all year. So,
okay.
where the east coast of the U.S. has been, they have in Midwest they've had all kinds of snow. It's all over. So, hello, Mean. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good. So, what time is it right now in Vietnam? After it,
Now in afternoon,
it
one,
is. It's one.
one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then in Italy, is it 8 or is it 7, Salvatore?
7 o'clock, teacher.
7. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
We changed here in the States, we changed our time 2 weeks ago.
Yes. We change the time. We will change the time at the last of the month, teacher.
Yeah. And it's been kind of weird because I've been teaching at the same times mostly, but it's all completely different students. So different people and things like that. So it's kind of fun. But because you guys are an hour, even though we sprung ahead, you guys are an hour later. So before 2 weeks ago, this class for me was my 11 p.m. Now it's my midnight class. So anyway, all right. So this topic today we are doing is negotiations. So before we get started on this, I thought maybe we would have a quick discussion and talk about the places and the ways that we negotiate on a daily basis in our lives and our work life and our personal lives. So can you guys see, let's make a list of all the ways over here, all the ways that we negotiate. So Amin, can you think of some ways that we negotiate?
Uh, Sorry.
Yeah, can you think of some ways we negotiate in our personal lives or our work life? For example, I'll give you an
The
example.
workplace.
Yeah, for example, you negotiate. Uh, I can't even think of any examples. Basically with family, negotiates with family. For example, like who gets the car. Can you think of some other examples of the ways you would negotiate?
Mm, who pay for the car?
Who pays for the car?
Yeah.
Okay, who pays
The
anything? Who pays? Basically, who pays?
pays
Yeah.
the gas for the car.
Uh-huh. All right. So who pays for the milk? Who pays for the groceries? Who pays the utilities? Okay. Salvatore, can you think of some examples of the way that you negotiate on a daily basis?
Yes, for example, I can say when I am at work and I have to negotiation with my colleagues
Mhm.
to decide the time of the week when we have to work. For
Mhm.
example, I have to talk with my colleague if I have to work in the morning or in the afternoon, or if I have to work on Sunday,
Mhm.
something like that.
Mhm. Definitely, that's a very good example of a negotiation. So you're negotiating basically the work schedule. So, and that's nice that you're able to do that because not everybody has that chance in their job to negotiate that. So,
Yes, that's true, teacher.
yeah. So, yeah, I've always had the uh, the autonomy in my work to be able to choose when I teach, and that's always been very nice. So, um, all right, Mean, can you think of some other examples at
Mm,
work or at home or?
I think at work, we sometimes arrange the time to to do the job like to make sure the temperatures of the machines at my work
Uh-huh.
and I and my some colleagues divide the time each week and each
Mhm.
person to perform
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so you negotiate on basically who does the tasks, specific tasks. Who does specific tasks in your job. Perfect. Um, all right, and Ken, welcome. So, in
Yes, hello.
what we're making before we do go through this lesson, we're just making a list of the different examples of ways that we might negotiate, either with our family, at work, at home, in the supermarket, or wherever. Some examples of the ways that we negotiate on a daily basis.
Daily basis.
Yeah, because we do. We negotiate all the time. We just don't think about it.
Oh, the price here is almost fixed price. Ah, but maybe I'm sometimes searching for the cheaper items on the internet. It's not
Uh-huh.
a negotiation, but instead of a negotiation, I am doing such kind of thing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, when I purchased the electric appliance or.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, basically, when you're purchasing items, um,
Mhm.
and in that respect, actually, you're negotiating. You're not what you're doing though. It's not really negotiating. The better word is you're navigating
Yes.
www.
Mhm.
You're navigating the www, the World Wide Web, to get the best price. But yeah, okay. So purchasing items, but a lot of times when we purchase items, we do negotiate. And it might be just as a simple thing of like we wrote earlier, who pays for the items? Does it come out of the husband's salary, the son's salary, the wife's salary? Where does the money come from? So that's a negotiation you might have with family. Who cooks that day is another one. So, all right. So this is a good list. So let's complete the following dialogues with the words below. So we have delivery time, discount, minimum order, price, and terms of payment. So let's see if we can go ahead and do this. So dialogue 1, Salvatore, can you read letter A, and Mean, can you read letter B?
Okay. Our standard blank is $50 unite. Our standard uh, uh, term No, price is 50 unit.
Perfect. Okay, so in this one, how we say it, in Salvatore is we would say $50 per unit.
$50
per unit.
unit.
Now, unite is spelled this way with an E in the back. So $50 per unit is how we say it
Per
there.
unit.
Okay. So Mean, could you read the next one?
Yes. Fine. Can you deliver within 30 days?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, so Mean, when it comes to the word 30, of course it's spelled out with a T right here, but actually in English, a lot of us will pronounce it with a D. 30 days.
30.
30 days, yeah, that's better. 30 days, good.
30
All right.
days.
All right, so Mean, could you read letter A, and Ken, could you read letter B in dialogue 2?
Yes. We would like to order 1,000 units.
I'm afraid that is too low. Our blank is 2,000. Minimum order. Our minimum order is 2,000.
Yeah.
Okay. We will be prepared to order 2,000 if you give us a small discount.
We could offer you $2.5 per unit. How does that sound?
That sounds awesome. I guess. Small discount. And also one thing that in English that we also say, instead of just a discount, we will also use the word a volume discount, and people will use that word when they are negotiating. Since I'm buying 20 of these, can I get a volume discount? So, all right. Dialogue 3. Ken, could you read letter A, and Salvatore read letter B?
Okay. What are your delivery time? No.
No, I'm not sure that
What
that's
are
right.
your
Yeah.
after delivery? What are terms of payment?
Yeah. What are your terms of payment? Salvatore?
20 days after delivery.
Ken?
Sorry, that is too strict for us. Other suppliers have offered us 30 days. Can you be more flexible?
Okay, you can have 30 days.
Perfect. That happened in my company, actually. I had the payment terms were 20 days, and my client came back to me and said, we need 30. I was like, okay. So terms of payment is one way to say it, but we also say payment terms. So both of those will work. And their synonyms are used exactly the same. So, all right. Now the last one.
Payment due?
No, because the terms would be, if you want to use the word due, it would be a different thing. It would be, you would say, when is the payment due? So that's how you would do it. But usually the payment terms, or the terms of payment, are what is just kind of expected, and it's usually on the contract, and it's the payment terms of 20 days or 30 days, or sometimes it's due on delivery, for example. Usually as individuals, as consumers, we usually are required to pay on delivery, right? But companies have different differences, because, do you guys know this word? Because they have clout. Are you guys familiar with that word?
No.
Clout. this is power because of how much money they have. So a company can go, for example, to a hotel and get a really low rate because they're going to have 20 of their clients or 20 of their employees stay at the hotel, where an individual who goes to the same hotel will not have that much clout, and so they will not get a very good price for the hotel room.
I see.
And that has to do with volume discounts as well. So, all right. So number 4. So Min, could you read A, and Salvatore, could you read B?
What is your standard delivery time?
Perfect.
About 3 weeks.
That's quite long. We would need about 2 weeks.
I'm afraid that's too short for us.
Okay. So we listen to check your answers. I have if you guys want to, the listenings are right here, and you can download them if you want. In this class, or do you guys want me to provide the link for it? I think we're going to skip it because you guys can always listen to it later. But if you want me to give you the link, I will do that. But I can tell you right now that you got the answers correct. So here is the link for the audio. Okay, so can you guys think of any other aspects of a product or of a service that might be discussed during a negotiation? Any ideas? So we've got the price, terms of payment, order, discount, delivery time, anything else?
Maybe when you take a house for rent, and you have a talk with the condition about the house and the rule.
Okay, yeah, so it might be a contract, basically a contract or a lease agreement, so contract agreements, so different rules, contract rules, lease rules. Perfect. Min, can you think of any?
I think they can negotiate about the way for the payment, cash or through the credit card.
Say that again. The way to
pay for the product.
Okay.
Yeah.
So payment procedure. Yeah. For example, can the person go online and pay, or can the company pay online, or can they do a bank transfer, or do they expect a check? In my country, a lot of companies still send checks out. So yeah, so payment procedure is very good. Yeah. Can you guys think of anything else?
And maybe what currency is available?
Yeah. The currency, definitely. Like I had a client once that I was charging him in euro because for me it was better. The dollar was weak, and then he came back to me about a year later and he said, "Holly, I'm really having problems with the price that you're charging because the yen is getting so weak against the euro." And I said, "Okay, well, I will start charging the same price, but in dollar." And that was about a $2 or $3 difference, so it was much better for him in yen. So, But it was very nice to be able to charge in the yen, I mean in the euro for the while that I was able to. So, and anybody else can think of anything else?
Maybe they negotiate about deposits on insurance and about the products. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. Insurance and what was the other one?
Deposits, then
Deposit.
money
hmm
first. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Deposits. Another one that I thought of is financial penalties. In Europe, it's very, very common for companies to charge interest to other companies if they're late. American companies just won't pay that. They just refuse to pay financial penalties if they're late. But it's very common in Europe. Another one is a length of the guarantee. Okay. Another is salary. Okay, I don't like having length of. I'm going to put this over here. Length of guarantee. So if there is a guarantee, how long is it? Is it 30 days? Is it a year? 6 months? Okay, and then you also have salary. People will negotiate, of course, the salary when they are doing new employment. So, and same as perks or benefits is another one that people might be negotiating. Okay, all right, let's go on. So, negotiations involve several strategies. So let's match the following expressions with their correct definitions. So we have make a concession, reach an agreement, accept a proposal, reject a proposal, or reach a compromise. So, Ken, could you read letter A?
Make a confession.
Letter A.
Sorry, to agree to a suggestion.
So what would that be?
Agree to a suggestion. Accept proposal. Accept the proposal.
Okay. Accept a proposal. Perfect. Okay. And Mean, could you read letter B?
To allow the other side to have something they want in order to end disagreement.
Okay.
I think it's make a concession.
Yes, it is make a concession. Perfect. Okay, and Salvatore, could you read letter C?
To arrive at a position that both sides accept. Reach a compromise.
The both sides. No, it's not reach a compromise. I was thinking the same thing, but it is actually reach an agreement.
Reach an agreement. Okay.
Excuse me. Reach an agreement. Oops. Okay, and then Ken, can you read the next one?
To arrive at a position where both sides reduce their demands in order to agree, reach a compromise.
Yeah, reach a compromise there. And so the last one, Mean, can you read that one?
Yes, to refuse to arrange to suggestion.
Yes.
Reject proposal.
Reject a proposal. Yeah. So let's go ahead and practice this word right here. It's difficult to say. So in this one we have sug. So the first G is kind of a strong G, and the second G is more like a J. Suggest. Then we have suggestion. This is kind of a weird word. Suggestion. Suggestion. Can you go ahead and say that, Mean? Suggestion.
Suggestions.
Very close. Very close. Salvatore, could you say the word? Suggestion.
Suggestion.
Yeah, good. And Ken, could you say it?
Suggestion.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's hard because you have the two G's that have the different sound. Then you still say the T, suggest, and then you have the T-I-O-N sound as well. So it's like what? Shun and but suggestion. Suggestion. So, okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is look at the negotiations in exercise 1 and label each dialogue with the expressions above. So on the dialogue, which one of the dialogues make a concession? What would you guys think?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yeah, of these dialogues, which one makes a concession?
I think the dialogue 2.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And there's one more. Also, dialogue 3, they make a concession. So make a concession. Okay, we will be prepared to order 2,000 if you give us a small discount. This one, can you? Other suppliers have offered us 30 days. Can you be more flexible? Okay, you can have 30 days. So that's make a concession as well. Concession. Okay. Now the next one, reach an agreement. Which one reached an agreement here?
Dialogue A.
Dialogue 1, yeah.
Sorry, dialogue 1. Yeah.
I knew what you meant. So yeah, so they reached an agreement in dialogue 1. So yeah, sure, no problem. So that's the best kind. So how about accept a proposal? Who accepted a proposal? So Salvatore, what do you think? Who accepted a proposal?
Dialogue number number 2. Oh no.
We didn't get to that. We don't know what happened.
Can you down the page, teacher?
Sure can. Absolutely. So can you move the page down?
Can you move the page down? Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
Number 1.
Yeah, right. You're right. Dialogue 1. Dialogue 1 would be the one that accepted the proposal. Perfect. All the rest of them made concessions and rejected the proposals and stuff like that. Okay, so we have reject a proposal. Which one's rejected a proposal? That one is more than one. So which one's rejected a proposal? They're all in front of you.
I think dialogue 3 and 4.
Okay. So reject a proposal. Oops. Definitely. And dialogue 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. And actually also in dialogue too, because it says, we would like to order 1,000 units. I'm afraid that's too low. So they rejected that at first. So, but they also compromised or made a concession. Okay, and then which one reached a compromise? There's only one of them that reached a compromise. Any idea?
Two,
Two,
because
yes.
there is a discount.
Perfect. Excellent. All right. So let's discuss some of the following questions. So Ken, do you have a personal style of negotiating? Can you describe it?
Personal style of negotiating. I don't have any particular style. I just judge which is the better or which can be. It could be work in accordance with the situation. For example, I found a lamp, a LED lamp, in the store, and I asked about that, and store clerk said it was the final one, and so I asked the clerk, uh, would you uh, would you discount because it was displayed in the store, so I negotiated in that way.
And did they agree to it because it was a store display?
Yeah, because usually such items are discounted here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And Amin, how about you? Do you have a personal style of negotiating? If so, describe it.
Let me see. Sometimes I had negotiate with my colleagues about the payment for the rent we had after lunch. Yes. And we always arrange the time we had to pay for the rent. Example, I pay this day and on 3 days of a week, and 3 days left. The other ones will pay. Yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And Salvatore, how about you? Do you have a personal style of negotiating? Can you describe it?
I think that I don't have a personal style for this, but when something is interesting of of me, I try to convince people and to find a solution for the better for both.
Okay, so you try to look for basically a win-win solution for the situation. So you look instead of trying to win something, you look to be able to allow it to both people to win. A win-win solution is what we call it. Perfect. Yeah, and I don't know if I have a personal style of negotiating. If I do, I'm not very good at it. So it's probably very aggressive, I would think, but I'm not sure. But I also might be a type of person that's, depending on what it is, I'm very agreeable. If I want the item or if I want something bad enough, I'm very very agreeable. So I'm not very successful at negotiating. So So let's go to number 2. Salvatore, why don't we start with you? Is negotiating tough in your line of business? What typical difficulties do you encounter?
What? Could you repeat what is TOG, teacher?
Okay,
TOG.
Tough. And so this is one of the few words that have the OUGH that actually is pronounced, has the pronunciation. So we pronounce it tough. And it means difficult or strong. So in this respect, when we're talking about it, we're talking about difficult. So is negotiating difficult? Like, for example, since you work in optometry, so is negotiating difficult in among optometrists?
Okay. For example, when I am at work and I talk with the customer, I have to negotiation the price because a lot of customer ask me the discount and they want that I make the discount for them.
So you often, and a lot of customers ask for a discount. So remember, ask for a discount. Yeah. So I mean, I've never even thought of asking for a discount when I'm buying glasses. Is it normal? Should I try it next time?
For many people, yes. For example, but when I go to the other stores, I don't like to ask the discount teacher to talk about the discount.
Okay, so you don't like to ask for. So remember, it's always ask for. So whenever you use the word ask, you always use the word for. So ask for a discount. So you don't like to do it. Okay. All right. Mean, how about in your line of business? What typical difficulties do you encounter? Is negotiating difficult in your line of business?
I don't sell anything, so.
So you just negotiate with colleagues, right?
And I remember the first time I went to my companies, the negotiating touch for me that time about the salary with the human resource, and I think it's very tough.
Yeah. Okay. So for you, it was actually, you had a very tough salary negotiation with you in your, and it definitely is in your line of business. So that is a really good example.
Yes. When you give the high salary, but you really want to get that job, but human resource suggest lower salary. That's a really difficult situation.
Yeah, it definitely is. And one thing that I've noticed is when it comes to salary negotiations, men are always better. At least in my experience, the male English teachers, if they don't get what they want, they'll just say, "Okay, goodbye," and then the company will come back and offer them what they want. And the female English teachers have always been very like, "Okay, whatever you want to give me, I'll take it." So, I don't know. Do you guys think that men are better at salary negotiating than women? What do you guys think?
Me?
Any of you? I mean, what do you think? Are men better at negotiating salary than women? Or have you ever come across that? Hello?
Yes. You mean it's easy to negotiate with the woman?
No, I'm saying the other way around. I'm saying that it's easy to negotiate with women, yeah, because women are more agreeable,
Yeah.
where men are more tough, and they will walk away if they don't get what they want.
I think in that situation, if they suggest the lower salary, then I will go away. Yes.
Okay. And what do you think, Ken? Have you ever run into this? Who do you think is better at salary negotiations, men or women?
I tend to think not generalize two genders, you know.
Okay.
Just, you know, also the individual fact in our situation, our confidence, the position of social status influence to this issue. So,
okay.
yeah, maybe kind of thing influence too. So if you say that women tend to get a lower status of social position, or less, or society try to oppress their aggressiveness. So maybe in that way, yeah, we can generalize the genders in such way. So,
yeah. I just have personally noticed that in my field, but I don't know if it's really true. I just know that among English teachers, men, even in the company that I own, where at one time I had 12 teachers, the men always negotiated more than the women. So I don't know if it's just my field or what. Salvatore, have you noticed it? I know that Ken is absolutely right that it's very you're probably not good to generalize, but have you noticed that men might be better at salary negotiations than women?
No, teacher, I agree with Ken. I think that depend of the person. There are men that have a good negotiation, and because they want more and more discount, and I can say the same for the woman, woman.
Okay. All right. And remember, the word depend also has a dependent preposition. So it always when you use the word depend, you always use the word on. So it depends on. So ask for and depends on.
Okay.
So remember
preposition.
that.
Yes, preposition is difficult for me, teacher.
Yeah, it is difficult. And once you realize that it's always the same one and you can memorize that, it makes it much easier. So, all right. So let's go to number. Ken, let's go to number 2 for you. Is negotiating tough in your line of business? What typical difficulties do you encounter? So, in the jobs that you've had in your line of business, has it been tough or easy?
Yeah, sometimes, you know, bureaucracy is difficult to deal with. But sometimes regulation is not fit to the actual individual situation. So, but it's very but people who order that regulation it's you know, just order the regulation is safe for their job, to keep their job or their status. So sometimes it's kind of misfits of the regulation on bureaucracy and actual situations. The conflicts, it's very difficult to deal with.
And remember, with the word bureaucracy, it's a hard word.
Yeah.
Bureaucracy. So that's actually a hard word to say and a hard word to spell. And so I'm scared to type.
I think it's French, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, at least I don't know if in British English if it's different, but in American English we actually do pronounce, you know, it's bureaucracy. So we have that stress there. So, But we do understand it when people say bureaucracy. So, all right, number 3. Min, why don't we start with you? Do different nationalities have different negotiation styles?
Yes, I think so. Example, the Easter and Western had different ways in negotiation.
Okay. So remember when you say the word Eastern and Western, both of it, you said it the same way. You need to pronounce the N. So Eastern and Western. None. Western.
Western.
Yeah, exactly. Now, is it true, Mean, that in Asia, in the Eastern cultures, that it's not polite to say no?
Yes, sometimes we avoid to say directly no.
Okay. And is that the same in Japan as well, Ken?
Yeah, especially in the past, yeah, it is true. Now the style is changing, but how can I say? Maybe not like English say, I'm afraid not, was this kind of expression commonly used to refuse the request. And sometimes it's make a kind of misunderstanding. And Japanese Prime Minister said maybe just say, how can he said "zensho shimasu." That means literal translation is I will think it in a good way. But translated into English, maybe I will consider it later. Or it's "zensho shimasu" is just neutral meaning, probably. It's a feeling-based language. It's very difficult to define the meaning. But anyway, translated in the maybe the positively in English. So American government misunderstood, and that's kind of conflict
Oops, not good.
Yeah.
And that does happen, and just because of that. I mean, I've heard, for example, have you guys heard about the silent cultures?
Yeah, maybe I guess what it is like. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that, like Salvatore, Italy is not part of a silent culture. Salvatore, in Italy, if people are quiet and silent, does it make Italians feel uncomfortable?
No, teacher.
It doesn't.
For silent culture for negotiation, teacher.
Yeah. So in negotiations, if you're in negotiations, if you're in with a group of people, and all of a sudden it becomes completely silent, no one is saying anything.
No, teacher. Che say, for example, it depends on the place. For example, in the South Italy, when there is a market in the street, people discuss about the price for the product, and they seem that they have an argument because they speak with a raised voice, and they blah 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 blah. It's incredible.
Okay, yeah. So it really depends on the part, and of course you never can generalize and stereotype and everything. I learned I was watching a show on BBC, a documentary on BBC years ago, and they said that that China, Korea, and Japan are what they call silent cultures, and I think many of the other cultures in the East, and then they said that there was one country in Europe that was also a silent culture, and that was Finland. And in that documentary they said that Finland is doing really well in China, and that might be why. And so I mentioned that to my students, and one of them, who was working for one of the bigger cell phone companies out of Finland, told me that that they actually experienced that because one of the men in his department was on the telephone with an American. And Americans we get uncomfortable with silence. We just do not like silence. And so what happened was the Finn took his time replying. Apparently the American offered a what is it? They gave a proposal, and the Finn was going to accept the proposal, but the Finn took his time replying so that he could say the English correctly, and the American was not patient enough, and so he lowered the price. And so the Finn was able to get a better deal because the American was uncomfortable with silence. And it was amazing when I heard that. I was like, really? So, but okay, one thing, Salvatore, and basically I think this is helpful for all of you guys. When it comes to prepositions, there are words like depends on and ask for that you need to have a preposition. There are two words in the English language that everybody wants to put about after it. And in English, it is completely incorrect. So you do not discuss about the price, or you do not explain about the situation. You just discuss the price and you explain the situation. So that is one a piece of feedback as far as grammar. So it's discuss the price.
Sorry. Without about, right?
Correct. Okay. Now you hear it all the time. You hear it with your non-native speaking colleagues. You might hear it with your native speaking and Native American, native English speakers who aren't thinking, if they have been among non-native speakers for a long time. But the actual correct grammar is discuss the price or explain the situation. Both of those, they always want to put about in it. Discuss about, explain about. So that's just, hopefully people can take a gold nugget from class today. So, all right. So, Ken, what do you think about the, no, I guess we've all talked about this. Number 4. Let's go to number 4. Salvatore, how important is it to be open and honest during negotiations?
Is a lot important because you have you are honest, because if you try to convince someone, that person has to trust with you, and if you make this, the negotiations go ahead without problem.
Yeah. So you need to have you need to build trust. And if you're not being open and honest, you can't build trust. Very good. Amin, what do you think? How important is it to be open and honest during negotiations?
I think it's important because you have to honest about your capabilities and yes, and reach the agreement with customer. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, and remember, as far as pronunciation, mean policies. That's actually pronounced policies. So we make sure that you're pronouncing the S. Yes. Policies.
Policies.
perfect. That's very good. Okay, and Ken, in your opinion, how important is it to be open and honest during negotiations?
I think it's important because it's the necessity of building trust.
Mm-hmm.
And if the lie was revealed after the agreement, maybe penalty might be applied.
Mm-hmm.
So being honest and open as much as I can
Yeah.
during negotiations. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of this situation? Several years ago, I rented an apartment, and they did not tell me that although the apartment building was next to a train track, they did not tell me that the building would shake.
What is train track, teacher?
Let me show you. A train track is basically where the trains run. Yeah, so it's basically where the little road that the trains are on. So
a lot of noise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot of noise, and I had no problem with noise. So I said, "Oh yeah, I have no problem with noise," but they neglected to tell me that the building will shake when the trains go by. So in my opinion, they were not open and honest when during the negotiations. What do you guys think? Because they didn't say anything.
Maybe one trick of this, how to inform the information. A building might shake, but it's not so major or something like that.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's nobody really worries about it. But it's funny because a year later when my lease was up, they asked me. They said, "Do you want to stay?" And I said, "Well, no, I have another place already." And they were going to raise my rent by almost $100, and I'm like, no, not with a building that shakes. So thank you everyone for your participation. I hope you had you learned some new words and phrases and got some good feedback. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Holly,
Bye.
thank you very much. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye everyone. Bye.